What's Happening is produced and presented by the volunteers at Tellico Village Broadcasting.
Welcome to Tellico Village Naturally. This is our first episode, and we're going to talk about raptors. We're going to find out what raptors are and where they may live, and why we're very, very lucky to live in a place that is filled with birds, animals, lakes, rivers, and in fact, that's one reason many of us moved down here to eastern Tennessee and Tellico Village. There's hardly a place like it on earth. In fact, it's the most biodiverse, or one of the most biodiverse areas in the world outside of the tropics. And Tellico Village Naturally is going to bring you to the natural side of Tellico Village, the wild side. And with us today, we have the bird lady, Claire Manzo. Claire, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being with us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
You know, before we start asking you the questions that I had sent in to you, just before I came over here, and you have to pardon me because I'm going to have to read this, I was looking at Tellico Village next door, and this woman by the name of Kimmy had shot a picture of a hawk, or I should say probably taken a picture of a hawk, because we don't want to shoot birds, do we? And anyway, Kimmy said, just love Tennessee. I went out to my backyard and there was this gorgeous hawk. He was sitting there screeching at me. And then he took off. I couldn't believe it. He was so beautiful, and I'm so fortunate to be in such a heavenly place. And I think someone named the Bird Lady must feel the same way too.
Yeah, this is really a place for the birds and the wildlife. Sometimes I can sit at my window and I can watch birds for hours, and my husband says, "What are you doing?" And I'm saying, "Just watching birds. They're so beautiful."
How long have you lived here in Tellico Village?
I'm here 7 years in July.
7 years.
We spent 20 years in Florida, and originally from New Jersey.
I never would guess by the accent. And now, you're president of the Bird Club, are you not? And founder also?
Yes. 7 years ago when I moved here, there was no bird club, and so I had nothing else better to do, so I started a bird club, and my original group was about 12 people. And we meet January, February, March, April, May, June. We're off July and August and December. It's been a struggle trying to educate people and letting people know that we have a bird club. A lot of people don't even realize, but I think the word has finally gotten out. And I've been trying to get more programs in, more educational programs. In fact, guess who I have coming in September?
Who?
I have, what's his name from IMES? I can't remember his first name. Lynn Bales from IMES.
Great.
And he's coming in with his screech owl and some other things. And because we're expecting a lot of people, I have the room at the yacht club upstairs for our first meeting in September.
Now, can you, for the those in the audience who don't know what IMES is, can you sort of tell us what it is?
Well, IMES is a wildlife refuge up in Knoxville. They have a lot of educational programs for children. They have night walks and all kinds of birding walks, and there's a lake up there. It's quite a big place.
I've been there, and it's really a cool place. They even have a kayaking area.
Yeah.
It's very, very scenic. Now, here in Tellico Village, I don't think some people realize just what an abundance of raptors there are. Now, first of all, could you tell me what a raptor is?
Well, a raptor is a hawk. There's all kinds of raptors. There's eagles, there's hawks, there's ospreys, there's red-shouldered hawks, there's red-tailed hawks, Cooper hawks. Cooper hawks are very prevalent in my neighborhood, and they're kind of on the small side, but it's Mother's Nature balance. You know, everything has a reason for being here. So the hawks take care of the little mices and the things that run around, and sometimes they do take other birds' eggs, which you have to say that's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, it is. It's the balance of nature, the cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm going to ask you about that. I've heard some people, I think even in the bird club, say, what can I do about those hawks that are disturbing my birds?
Well, there's nothing really you can do. As I said, they're there for a reason. A lot of people have problems with crows because they're loud and they're noisy. A lot of people have problems with the grackles that come in. But as I said, it's part of Mother Nature. I had an incident with a Cooper hawk that I thought might have gotten one of these small teacup dogs, poodles. And as it turns out, it was a rabbit. And he proceeded to have lunch over my neighbor's yard. And he was there for about 5 hours just merrily having lunch. It keeps the population down. There's balance in this world. You know, if you have too many rabbits, that's a problem. There's reason the coyotes are here. There's reason the rabbits are here. There's reason that the hawks are here.
That's interesting. Now, there's an eagle nest in the area, and I'm not going to say where it is. And I want to ask you about this. If I were in the woods, should I tell people where maybe a hawk or an eagle nest is and have lots of people come and see it?
We have 2 bald eagles nests in this area. One is on a private farm, and the other one is in a place near here. People have found out about this eagle's nest, and they don't realize that when a female lays the eggs in April, they have to be incubated. This year, we were lucky to have 3 eggs laid. And about the end of April, a group of people went up and had a picnic. They had music, and they took a saw and they sawed down some of the limbs so they could see the nest. It's lucky that we have a nest that you can look down into instead of looking up. And they scared the female off the nest for quite a while when it was cold. And we lost one of the eggs because of that. So people, when you go to see wildlife, be aware that we're the intruder. And you should be quiet and be respectful and try not to hurt the environment. It's really important. Bald eagles have come back greatly since the pesticide back in the 50s. Eagles mate for life. And if one of the mates dies or whatever, they wait a while and then they find another mate. They build a nest that can weigh, some of the nests can weigh over 2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds?
Oh yeah, I think the largest one was 2,400 pounds, and I only read that recently. And it could be anywhere from 7 to 8 feet wide. When the first nest is built, the next year they rebuild it. Next year they rebuild it until at the point it gets huge.
Just keeps on growing.
It just keeps on growing. And the eggs are laid, and 35 days from the eggs are laid, they hatch out. And then they stay in the nest for a good 2 to 3 months.
That's interesting. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, bird lady. and that question is, say I just moved to Tellico Village. Maybe I lived in the suburbs most of my adult life. Sort of interested in birds, and maybe I've seen this hawk fly around. How can I learn how to identify them? Is there some place I go, or do I get a book, or what do I do? There's a book called The Birds of Tennessee, and it's only the birds that are in this area, and it tells you if they're migrating, if they're here all year round. It's a real good introduction, you know. Then there's other books you can get involved in. But the Birds of Tennessee, I think Wild Birds Unlimited has it. In fact, I just purchased one for my girlfriend. And that's at Bird Store in...
Yes, up by the mall.
Okay, by Turkey Creek?
No.
West Town Mall?
West Town Mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, really good. So they are...
And they have good bird seed.
Do they?
And I always say to people, don't buy cheap bird seed, because all you do is get squirrels and all other things that come bumping in the night. Buy some good bird seed. There's something called chips. It's a little expensive, but you want to keep the birds happy, you get the chips. They're the heart of the sunflower seed.
Oh, okay.
Without the pod.
Okay. Now, let's say I want to go on a little trip within an hour, 2 hours of Tellico Village, and hopefully to see an eagle or ospreys or raptors. Where would I go?
Right here.
Right here? I don't have to go anywhere?
Well, you can. You can go to Sharps Ridge, which is off of Route 40, about an hour from here. Good migratory place to go when the birds are migrating. You can go to Kingston Steam Plant, which is down off of 40 also. You can, different places like that. But we have bald eagle right here. We have ospreys. In fact, we have, go down by the dam. I go down by the dam at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's 4 or 5 ospreys just soaring around the dam.
Yeah, there's a nest down there too,
Yes,
isn't there?
that nest has been there, and hopefully it's not going to be taken down with the new dam coming, with the new bridge coming through.
Yeah, right there on that big power
Right.
line.
You can go right to the yacht club and see birds.
Really?
Oh, yeah, the yacht club is good for birds. Different places, even neighborhoods. One of the members of my club has pileated woodpeckers, which they stand about this high, and they're beautiful birds. That, in fact, Woody Woodpecker was fashioned after them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I understand you have some interesting video of a
Oh,
eagle
yeah.
taken from, I don't know where you took it, but we're going to play it, and can you describe what's going on while we look at the video?
Sure. First of all, I always have a camera ready because there's always something going on with birds, so I always have a camera. And what happened is this bald eagle was flying around, and the crows were chasing him, and crows will chase hawks, okay? And they gang up on him. There'll be 5 or 6 crows. So I ran and got my camera, and by the time I got back, I know I got the camera up here, so I'm really not seeing everything. And this bald eagle was going around my dock, and then he'd go down, and he'd hit the water, and he'd fly off. And he'd come back around, and as he went down, you'd see a splash in the water. Well, it turns out there was a pied grebe, it's still a little bird, and they can go under the water. And every time this eagle came down with his talons out, that bird would wait, and ping, down he would go. And this went on for 2-3 minutes. It's really a sight to behold. The sad ending is he didn't get the pied grebe, thank God, because I wouldn't really have wanted to see that, even though I know it's Mother Nature, but people don't understand the other thing, too, about eagles. If an eagle gets into the water too deep, they can't get out. They actually swim out with their wings. And if they're out too far, they'll drown.
Eagles can swim?
They actually use their wings.
They do the breaststroke?
They do the... And one of my friends, 2-3 years ago, found a dead eagle in the lake when we
Really?
assume that that's what would happen.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So they can swim, and they must hit the water.
They don't want to hit the. They don't want to swim. They have to survive. Ospreys can go down into the water and even dive down and come right up and take off, but eagles can't. And eagles will take the fish away from ospreys.
I've seen that. I've seen that. Up in Minnesota, we saw that happen quite a few times.
Yeah.
Just amazing. I'm like you. I can just watch animals all the time. I mean.
And it's the funny part about it is the eagle, a male eagle weighs between 4 and 6 pounds, and the female weighs between 7 and 9 pounds. Their bones are hollow, so they're very light in feathers.
Is that true of all raptors? Or birds?
Mostly all birds, yeah.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, in general.
Now, there's owls in Tellico Village. Have you seen any?
I have not had the privilege of seeing owls here. I hear them, but I haven't seen them, but they're here.
What kind of owls are here?
Oh, there's barn owls, there's great horn owls, and there's little screech owls. It's a whole different type of...
Those are the ones that make that blood-curdling, some kind of noise like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
We have red-shouldered hawks here, red-tailed hawks. So...
and each one has their own little different ecosystem that they live in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it will depend a little bit where I live, what kind of raptors may be around my house. Is that true?
True.
So if I'm
in an open area. I'm lucky to live on the lake, so I don't get the birds. Birds like cover. They like trees and stuff like that. So when you have dense woods behind your house, you can have all kinds of birds back there. And people think that if a tree is dead, take it down, take it down. Well, if it's not in any precarious situation of hitting your house or something, leave it, because owls and other birds will dig cavities in there and they will survive.
That is a good advice, because we always want to take stuff down and let nature do it.
And there's bugs in there and they eat the bugs. And as I said, if it's not going to hit your house or hit your car, leave it.
Leave it, yeah. Now, in addition to having you on, we're going to also be taking our audience up to the American Eagle Foundation.
Oh.
And that is such a great place. If you haven't seen it, maybe you've been to Dollywood, where they have a show as well as a preserve for the eagles. But at their headquarters, they rehab not only eagles, but all the birds you talked about. You know, the raptors native to Tennessee. We were fortunate enough to meet with the president, Al Ciceri, and the operations director, Laura Sturbins. And we're going to see what they do up there, which is quite amazing. And one of the things that was really interesting when we were up at the American Eagle Foundation is Al talked about American eagle feathers. Do you know anything about that?
Down in Florida, where I came from, down in the Punta Gorda area, we had a wildlife refuge for birds. And they had 2 bald eagles there. And when the bald eagles shed their feathers, or their feathers come out, they would gather the feathers up and they send it to some government agency, which then gives it out to the Indians who make their headdresses, of the headdresses for the Indians. So it's interesting to find how everything is just, of course, back 20, 30 years ago, Indian tribes were shooting eagles for their feathers. But the government said, hey, we've got some eagle feathers for you and you can stop shooting them. And they said, okay.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Now, should I pick up an eagle feather or should I just leave it? I mean, we're not allowed to have them, are we? I think there's a federal law. You know, I'll ask Al that when we're up there.
Yeah,
That'd be, because I'm sort of curious about that. And Claire, it's been great having you
Thank
here.
you.
Anything else you want? Oh, I know one thing we need to do. Now, the Bird Club at Tellico Village, how do I join?
Easy, just show up.
And when do I show up?
We meet the second Tuesday of the month, 1 o'clock at Choder.
Okay.
We have different programs I try to do. Our dues are $10 a year. And when we started off with this organization, we sort of needed some direction. And one day a gentleman came and asked us if we would take over the monitoring of the bluebird boxes on the golf courses. And we finally had a project. And from there, Chuck James and Stan Colburn have been monitoring and checking bluebird boxes. And what happens is, first of all, there's about well over 100 bluebird boxes that we monitor. And we have to go there once a week, and we have volunteers, like I do the second week, and somebody does the third week, and we go there, we monitor how many, if there's any bird activity, if there's any nests, how many eggs, when they fledged, what's going on. And we keep these records for the Cornell Ornithology Department, and we send the results there. Now from that, Chuck James picked up the ball and he started the Tennessee Bluebird Society. Yeah, which we didn't have one in Tennessee, and him and 2 or 3 other fellows, one from Memphis, one from Nashville, and they've started the Tennessee Bluebird Society because bluebirds were on a decline.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, they were on a decline, so because of environmental things that happened. So a lot of the bluebird boxes are out there, and I would like to thank my neighbors for the donations they've given to our organization for the upkeep of the bluebird boxes. You'll see us out on the golf courses, and sometimes I get out there 7 o'clock in the morning. You can just go, hi, Claire. Oh, there's the bird lady again. But anyway.
Claire, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
I think just knowing that you don't have to go miles and miles to see a raptor, a bald eagle. Just imagine, right out of your front porch you saw that. Is that right? Or Harris hawks, and if I don't know what I'm seeing, I should get that.
That book from, it's Birds of Tennessee, and it tells you all the birds that are here, winter and summer. It's a great book to have for a beginner.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And I'm sure that's one reason a lot of us have moved down here, is to take advantage of the wildlife and to see the birds, the animals, and the things that make this really a unique part of the world, and we can partake of it in Tellico Village naturally.
If they have the book, they will not call me and say, are you the bird lady? I have this little brown bird outside, and I think it might be, and I'd say, well, take a picture and send it to me, because little brown birds, that's what they are, LBBs.
So that's, Is that the official name?
That's the official name, LBBs, Little Brown
LBBs.
Birds.
Well, thank you very much, Claire.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it.
Thank you on behalf of the Tellico Village Broadcasting for watching the first episode of Tellico Village Naturally. And we hope you like it and stay with us because we're going to bring you, we hope, unknown news, exciting events, things you didn't know, as well as maybe some stuff you did know. But it'll help you be more aware about your wild neighbors.